السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. فأما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Do you love Allah? Alhamdulillah. If you loved Allah, then you would learn about His religion and you would learn about Him. Do you love the Prophet ﷺ? If you love the Prophet ﷺ, then you would learn about him and you would learn about his teachings and try your utmost best to follow his teachings. And what if I told you that a day will come in which we will all be in our graves and we will be asked three questions: who is your Lord? Who is your Prophet? And what is your religion? And this is where our Aqeedah steps in. Did we learn about Allah? Did we learn about His attributes? When Munkar and Nakir asks us the question, who is Allah? Are we going to be able to answer? When Munkar and Nakir ask us, who is your Prophet? Who is your messenger? Are we going to be able to answer that question? When we are asked, what is our religion? Are we going to be able to say Islam? It's not about how much or how long you spend memorizing these questions. This isn't a test of memorization. This is a test of the heart. Was our heart educated on the deen of Islam? Did it have the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are we going to be able to answer these three questions? That is the question that we need to ask ourselves. And this is one of the biggest reasons on why we need to emphasize on Aqeedah. Because Aqeedah is what makes us Muslims Muslim. It's what makes us Muslim. It's what differentiates us between all the other sects and religion. This is how we're different. Because of our Aqeedah, because of what we believe in, because of how we believe in it. And that's what I want to talk about today. Why should we value Aqeedah? Why should we learn it? Why do we have to emphasize on it so much? That's the question that I want to emphasize today. So first of all, a quick rounded, explanation of Aqeedah. It will be 6 pillars of Iman. And sadly today, I noticed that when you talk to people and you ask them about the 6 pillars of Iman, they don't know. They don't know the 6 pillars of Iman, the foundation of the religion, the things that make us Muslim, they don't know. And this is a disaster in the community of Islam, in the Ummah, a disaster. And so before I tell you this, I'm going to ask you right now, the viewers watching and everybody sitting here, do you know the 6 pillars of Iman? Ask yourself that. If you do, alhamdulillah, you're going on a correct path. If not, then I recommend you continue watching and you take note and emphasize on these 6 pillars. First of all, the first pillar is believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and believing in His tawheed and that He is the only one worthy of worship. And we must believe in all His names and attributes. And this is emphasized in Surah Al-Ikhlas in the Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say who Allah is one. This is, you are affirming that Allah is one. Meaning you're affirming Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan. Within Qul huwa Allahu ahad, You are first affirming that Allah is one, meaning you're affirming Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. And then after that, within the tafsir of Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad, the affirmation that you're affirming is also of worship. So you're only worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So within one verse, we figured two things. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. And then Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid wa Lam Yulad wa Lam Yakun Lahu Kufuwan Ahad. These are all names and aspects and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thus revealing the third, Tawheed, Asma' wa Sifat. So all this within one surah. And from this, we get to learn about the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this isn't just the beginning. There's so much more to Tawheed that we need to learn. But this is just a very, very, very foundational aspect of Tawheed. And our Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned in Sahih Hadith that the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon his slave is that we do not associate anything with him. And this is mentioned multiple times in Kitab al-Tawheed and multiple other books that revolve around Tawheed. They mention what? The right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us is to not associate anything with him. So at-Tawheed is not just about, oh, Allah is one. Tawheed has so many different aspects, but a very quick explanation of it will be these three categories of Tawheed. And a very quicker explanation of it will be Surah Al-Ikhlas, when we read Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad. Now, something that we as Muslims have that no other religion in the whole world has is Tawheed. And I'm not lying to you. Look at Christianity. Look at Judaism. Look at Hinduism. Look at Buddhism. Look at atheism and look at agnosticism. These religions, all of them, they don't have Tawheed. The Christians and Jews claim that they have Tawheed, but they don't actually have Tawheed. Why? Because the Aqeedah is not correct. Because their belief of Tawheed is not correct. Because their ideology of Tawheed is not correct. The Buddhists and the Hindus, same thing. Their ideology of Tawheed is not correct. The atheists and agnostics don't even believe in God. So as Muslims, we take all of these religions and we throw them away and we have our own belief within Aqeedah, which is the first one is Tawheed. First one is the correct belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why the Christians and Jewish aren't Muslims, because they're not muwahideen. They don't believe in Tawheed. And I will mention other aspects in which they are not Muslims. But moving on, we have the angels, belief in al-malaika. Belief in angels is also very important because we need to understand who the angels are, what their job is, the powers that they have. Those are all things that we as Muslims believe in angels. And we have to answer those questions. But other people, example, the Jewish, example, the Christians. The Christians, they don't believe that the angels are all good. They believe that the angels have a desire and they can make wrong, they can make faults. And so this invalidates their belief in the angel. Same with the Jews. They believe that angels are divine of some sort. This invalidates their belief in angels. So now they're not Muslim anymore. If hypothetically they were Muslim, they wouldn't be Muslim because they deviated from the correct belief in Tawheed and in the angels. Same with the Buddhists and the Hindus, where they don't believe in angels at all. The atheists and the agnostics, same thing, don't believe in angels at all. So see how in every religion, we look at these 6 aspects of belief, because these 6 aspects of belief are what make up a faith. These things are what make up a faith. Another mention, Ahlul Kitab. Ahlul Kitab, why are the Hindus and Buddhists not Ahlul Kitab? Why can we not eat from their meat and marry from their women? Because they don't even believe in the Day of Judgment. They don't believe in the angels. They don't believe in Qadar. And some of them don't believe in Prophet Muhammad. They've completely denied all of these aspects, so they're out of the fold of Ahlul Kitab. Because at least the Jewish and the Christians, they believe in the 6 pillars, but they deviate in them. And so that's what makes them not Muslim. So see how it's a pattern of, in order to be a Muslim, you need to believe in these 6 beliefs, you need to believe in them correctly and you need to follow them correctly. Next is the belief in the book. And the book is not just the Quran. Of course, we believe in the Quran as Muslims, but we also believe in something else. And that is belief in Al-Injil, the Gospel of Jesus, belief in the Torah from Musa alayhi salam, belief in the Quran from Ar-Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, belief in the Tasnams and from Dawood, and the Dead Sea Scrolls from Ibrahim. Some religions don't believe in some of these books. So that deviates them from Islam. That deviates them from the correct Aqeedah. So they're not Muslim anymore. So Aqeedah, once again, I'm going to mention it's a pattern. Everything that we believe in is what makes us Muslim. Is what makes us different from everyone else. Is what makes us unique from all these other religions. Belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His angels and His books, His messengers, and the Day of Judgment and Qadr, those are what makes us different from all the other religions. And even though the Christians and the Jews, they technically believe in them, they're still not Muslims. Why? Because they deviated in those beliefs. And to sum it up very quickly, we move on to the prophets. The prophet, what? The Christians don't believe in anything after Jesus alayhi salam and Isa ibn Maryam. The Jewish don't believe in anyone after Musa alayhi salam. So this automatically invalidates them from religion and Islam. They're no longer Muslim. That's like if a Muslim would say, I don't believe in Adam, I don't believe in Nuh, I don't believe in Isa ibn Maryam. This is kufr. You're leaving the religion of Islam because you've deviated from the correct belief. You've deviated from the main pillars of Islam. Same with the Day of Judgment. The Hindus, the Buddhists, they don't believe in the Day of Judgment. The Christians and Jewish, they have certain aspects in the Day of Judgment which tweak it. Same with Qadr. The Christians barely believe in Qadr. The Jewish barely believe in Qadr. The Hindus and the Buddhists don't believe in Qadr at all. So our Aqeedah is important. It's what makes us Muslim. It's what makes us unique. It's what makes us different. So this is why we always emphasize John. This is why we always, whenever you ask a alim what to start with in the deen, he'll tell you Tawheed and Aqeedah. Why? Because it's what dictates you as a Muslim. It's what makes you Muslim. And it's what guides you through the world and through the world. So now that we understand what Aqeedah is and the 6 pillars of Iman, we're going to dive into how can it affect us, right? How can it affect us in our daily life? How can learning it give us a positive within our life? First of all, when we have Tawheed, of course Tawheed is amazing, we have tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 1%. Tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stems from Tawheed. One of the first things. And we have tawakkul, you do whatever you can and you leave the rest on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He will do whatever He wishes with that. That's one of the things. And you see in many deviant sects, people have tawakkul on other people, where they rely completely on other people. They rely on saints and on prophets, on dead people to intercede for them with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is incorrect, this is wrong. We as Muslims, alhamdulillah, we have the blessing that we get to simply raise our hands to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we intercede for our own self. We don't need anybody else to intercede for us. This is the beauty of religion of Islam. So these are one of the things that you can gain from a correct Aqeedah is the correct reliance, the correct tawakkul. Another thing is belief in the angels. For angels, one of the best ways to gain from the belief in angels is accountability. Knowing we're accountable for all our actions because the angels on the right and left are always recorded. And every action we do, every word we speak is recorded by the angel. This gives us accountability. Not to mention it gives us a sense of shyness, knowing that the angels are watching all the time, knowing that Allah is watching all the time. Chicago. It would give you a sense of shyness.
More depressing than these clouds blocking the sun.
Something else that will aid us is belief in the books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran of the Fajr is mashhud, meaning it's witnessed and it's blessed. It's in the Quran. If you've ever read the Quran after Fajr prayer, then you realize that it's a blessing. Wallahi al-Azim, even if it's half a page or one page, when you read the Quran right after Fajr, it's a blessing. And it blesses throughout your whole day. And it makes you feel a sense of warmness and happiness and content within your whole day. All by just reading a little bit of the Quran in the morning. Another aspect is belief in the messenger. The sunnah is a belief in the messenger of Rasul. You're believing in the sunnah, the teaching of Rasul. So when you believe in this, you are taught, you're given a guidance and you're taught a certain way to do things. So you don't have to go and think, oh, how am I going to do this or how am I going to do that? Or you have to worry about everything. When you're given the sunnah of Rasul and the sunnah was given by Allah. So you're given a guidance, a way to go and light in a world of darkness. Another aspect is belief in the day of judgment. Knowing that one day, no matter how much bad you endure, there's going to be a Jannah, a heaven waiting for you. No matter how much good you endure, there's going to be Jahannam if you don't do good. So if you do bad, you're going to what? Go to Jahannam. If you do good, you're going to go to Jannah. And when you always remind yourself of this, you remind yourself of a reward that's constantly going to happen. You remind yourself of a reward that's always going to be there. And before you try to commit a sin, you think about, I'm going to risk this reward by committing this sin. Right? Something else is belief in the qadar. Imagine you studied for a test, the best that you possibly can. And you thought you're going to ace this test 100%. But then, surprise, you didn't do so well. Or maybe you did a job interview and you didn't do so well in the job interview. And you thought you did amazingly. Or maybe you gave a marriage proposal and you thought this person was a person for you. But they weren't for you. This is what the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It gives you a sense of guidance that if something is rejected from me, it's for my own good. If something is accepted for me, and it gives you a way to go, knowing that 50,000 years ago, before the creation of Adam alayhi salam, everything was already predestined. Everything was already predestined 50,000 years ago for the creation of Adam alayhi salam. And so it gives you a sense of peace, a sense of calm, knowing that your Lord is the most knowledgeable, knows everything. And that's it for today, inshallah. I'll go ahead and pass on to listening this journey.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So, just a brief reminder, inshallah. So we already spoke about the importance of Aqeedah and what it means, why it matters, and stuff like that. So one thing we're gonna very quickly cover is, so Aqeedah, like where do we get it from? So you mentioned Aqeedah, like, so first and foremost, the Quran and the Sunnah, first and foremost. The Quran, the Sunnah, and it is taken from the understanding of the Salaf al-Salih, the Sahaba, the Tabi'in, and Tabi' Tabi'in. And we only take Aqeedah from these three generations. Prophet who said, أوصيكم بأصحابي ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. I enjoin upon you, I order you to stick to the companions, and those who came after them, and those who came after them. So we want to go back to the understanding of the Sahaba, the Tabi'in, Tabi' Tabi'in, and the four Imams, Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi, and Ahmed. They were all upon the Aqeedah of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So we want to make sure that we go back to their understanding and follow them. And the Prophet said, وَشَرُ الْأُمُورِ مُحْدَثَاتُهَا كُلُّ مُحْدَثَةٍ بِدْعَةٍ وَكُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ وَكُلُّ ضَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. Every newly invented matter is innovation. Every innovation is in Ghana, every innovation is in the health. one of the Salaf, Muhammad ibn Jarir al-Tabari rahimahullah, who is the author of Tafsir al-Tabari, and the ulama say this is the best book of tafsir in the dunya. So Muhammad ibn Jarir al-Tabari rahimahullah, he mentioned a very important principle when it comes to Aqeedah. Because we mentioned Asma al-Sifat and the names and attributes. So the Imam, he mentions that with regards to the names of the names and attributes, some of which are mentioned in the Quran, some of which are mentioned in the Sunnah, the correct approach is to affirm the meaning in a real sense without likening him to his creation. And we don't like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to his creation. As Allah said of himself in the Quran, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٌ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. There is nothing like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's nothing like unto him. He is the all-hearing, all-seeing. So we don't liken Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to any of the other creation. All we say is what is affirmed in the Quran and Sunnah, what the early generations have affirmed, and we keep it there. And this way we seek goodness in our lives. This is what will give us true happiness. This is what will give us relief. That's the only reason why we were created, is for this aqeedah, for this belief. And straying away from it is what will give us problems. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُم وَيَعْفُو عَن كَثِيرٍ. Whatever calamity befalls upon you, it is for your own sins. Like I'm feeling depressed, I'm losing my job, I'm having a bad relationship with people, I'm getting along with people, I'm getting bullied or whatever. All of these calamities and all these causes like that you point to is because of your own shortcomings. وَيَعْفُو عَن كَثِيرٍ. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his attribute is what? He forgives much. So again, this goes back to the point of knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as he mentioned in the Quran, he forgives much. So we should seek forgiveness from him, and this will give us success in this world and in the hereafter, as the brother mentioned. This as well will give us Jannah, inshallah. Everything that which I said that was wrong is from me and Shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is blessing for us and I free from it. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه.